like it. Right?
No problem. You have a problem with it?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because I don't like that. I don't like it. You smell different.
I know it's the truth.
Yeah, y'all smell different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're not a good looker either.
And you know you got George Bush. That's your people. So you know, y'all brothers and sisters.
She look like she got the 7-day itch. But y'all take care.
You are listening to Vintage Beats Productions.
I want to bring in a sister right here who I think is very intelligent and qualified to speak on the subject. We're talking about the state of the conscious community. Anything you want to add to that, Bill?
Black power, black power, black motherfucking power. It's our Empress Sekhmet, the general, and I wanted to say the state of the conscious community. Well, there's a lot of things that you could say about that, but what I'm going to touch on right now is the fact that you can call yourself a part of a community, but when you say community or a part of something, that means action. That means action. So I know there's a lot of people that say that they're a part of the conscious community, but they're not doing anything in the community. They're not doing anything to build the community. They're not doing anything to uphold the community, enlighten the community, or encourage the community. So I'm indifferent, like Sankofa said, I'm indifferent to people that say that they're a part of something and they're not doing anything to elevate. They're not participating in anything. They're not being, they won't even subscribe. So when I think of a conscious community, that word community gives me a little befuddled because I don't believe that enough of us are doing something in the streets to call it a community. Now, as far as the word conscious, no doubt, not even in their own homes. Not even in their own homes, because your own home is where the community starts. Right? Inside the walls of your own private home is where your community should start, and then you should fester that out. You see what I'm saying? So if you're not putting anything in action in your own home, then how can it be in action on the street? So I'm very indifferent to that word. Now let's go back to the conscious. When you say being conscious, I think it has been watered down because there's a lot of people that have just bastardized the word, and I think that we learned how to do that from racist white supremacy. We've learned how to bastardize something. We learned how to water something down. We learned how to intersectionalize and integrate, which means water it down. Which means water it down. So I think that word, when people are referring to being woke or conscious, has been watered down. I am a part of the conscious community. Why can I say I'm a part of the conscious community? Because I'm out here. You know what I mean? You put in work out here, then you can put it in. It's like false flagging to me when you say I'm a part of the conscious community and you're not putting in work. That's false flagging to me. That's liable to get all... You know what I mean? You get handled for those kind of things. You get handled for walking around with a blue flag on the left and you ain't never put no work in. You get handled for that. You get handled for hollering Sue Woo and you ain't put no work in for that. You get handled for that. So I think that we need to incorporate some code of conduct. So if you're going to call yourself a part of the conscious community, then you need to show your receipts. And if you don't show your receipts, then you need to get handled. I'm tired of motherfuckers walking around here false flagging, saying that you with something, but you're not doing anything to be a part of something. You got to put in work. You got to put in time. You got to do something. You got to put some type of streets in your community, even on your own block. Even if it's just something on your own block, even if it's just running and telling somebody, everyone else has this cosmology. Everybody else has this working for them. Jehovah's Witnesses, where they at? They on the street. They at your door. They pop out on you. They pop out on your ass. Won't they? They'll jump out on the car on your ass. Pressure.
God damn.
Pressure. That's pressure. You feel what I'm saying? That's pressure. We're not putting any pressure out there. You know, the black churches out there giving out free fish sandwiches and shit. You know what I mean? We're not putting no pressure. We're not flooding the streets with the information to have people want to join.
As the concept of the conscious community being a derivation from things that came earlier, like Black Panthers. Black Panthers cut their teeth because they was in the streets. They had programs for the people. They understood the most important thing. My father told me this at a very young age. He said, look, don't bring none of that shit from outside, inside. You know, because when I was younger, we even had these concepts around my community about quote-unquote consciousness and, you know, because people have pamphlets, they got books, they reading shit. He's like, until you're willing to go door to door and organize, okay? Don't tell me nothing about no consciousness or no community. If you're not willing to go door to door and organize, then you can't have community. Because the people in your direct surroundings should know who you are and what you're about and what it is that you have to offer the people to make their situation better. Because your competition is out there diligently. Even if they're about some bullshit, they out there. The dope man is out there 7 in the morning. Jehovah's Witness is out there 7:30. You know what I'm saying? The school buses is coming at 8 a.m. You feel me? And the patrolman is patrolling at all them times, taking pictures. Yeah, and white, and they not taking no breaks.
You know, let me say this quickly. We are void of unity because we're void of culture and heritage. I'll say that again. We are void of unity because we're void of culture and heritage. It's time for us to get our birthright back. And when we begin to pass on a birthright, then we begin to have value in our culture. So when you talk about this conscious community, I think you need to understand that you need to have, it's a culture. It's a way of life practiced. Okay? I'm going back to math for all the gods and earths. Culture is a way of life practiced. You have to put it in practice. You can't just say that you're a part of something and you don't put it in practice and you don't put it in action. You see what I'm saying? If you're not surrounding yourself by positive images of black people, then how can you begin to positively move along change with young black people? You know what I'm saying? You running around with a Marilyn Monroe t-shirt on and you calling yourself conscious. You're not promoting positive black imagery. Period. End of the story. If you would rather look more like a European than more like a black African living in the wilderness of North America, then you are not culturally sound to be calling yourself conscious. And that's it, and that's all. I know a lot of people may not like that, but that's what it is. Culture is a way of life practice. You got to put it in practice for it to be culture.
Super facts.
You know, when you got Blue Pill here, you got Empress Sekhmet, you got Sankofa. You know, something I said when I was talking when I was building with Blue Pill earlier. Listen, man, we got to get out of the mindset that we're going to unite everybody all at the same time. That's not going to happen. What we got to do, if you're so-called conscious, remember, there's no money in being conscious. There's no money. There's no budget for us. There's a budget for the black church. There's a budget for the Jehovah's Witness. There's a budget for all these different groups, right? Because these groups are paid to keep our people in a sunken place. So now the thing is this, the group that we got to build something together and build a culture around what we're doing. See, because I'm a firm believer of saying you got ignorance in all different ethnic groups. But the reason why we don't have anything because we're culturally ignorant. We're ignorant and we're culturally ignorant. And because we're culturally ignorant, we display ignorant behavior. We do all kinds of things because we have no honor, and we know systematically and institutionally what happened to us and why we're culturally ignorant. Now remember something, we standing right here at Harlem at 125th Street, and like I told Sankofa, all these stores up and down this street, right, is owned by different ethnic groups, right? Do they do ignorant shit? Absolutely they do, but they're not culturally ignorant. They know that they have to come here and build for their people and build an economic base around their people, because you can't have economics without culture, and because we don't have a strong culture, we don't have economics. There is no economics without culture, and your spirituality, economics, and culture are supposed to all go together as one. Oh, yeah. So now, if we say we conscious, we're supposed to understand this. And our job now is to wake up the dead. So now what we got to do, if we say we conscious, see the difference between being conscious or just people that read books. That's correct. You got intelligent brothers that read books, but they're not conscious. Because if you're conscious, you would understand that, see this group right here, how we in the group? We got to begin to build something. When the Black Panthers first was building, there was no cell phones. There was no social media. They built by word of mouth, and then they built where people, now watch this, people that didn't agree with some of the Black Panthers, they still was a part of the movement because they was creating something where people can benefit from. So they began to branch out. So other people that might not be down with us in the beginning, when you start creating things where they can benefit from, when you start moving politically, right? So all these single moms out here whose sons is getting shot down in the the street, right? If we able to move and get things done politically, because we 2 million strong, now people want to be a part of what you're doing. See, the problem that you have is we got culturally ignorant people trying to come together and do things for people. Where we ain't built nothing, we gotta, listen, forget all the groups. Get the small groups together and you begin to let it grow. Now, you got Sinetta TV, right? He got hundreds of thousands of subscribers. You got a following. You got a following. You got a following. I'm just stepping on the scene, right? I was watching you guys, right? So now I come up and I say, you know what, I'm gonna join, I'm gonna jump in, right? I'm gonna jump in. We gotta use the followings that we have across this country to begin to move. I'm not really big on the political thing, but this is what I say. We're not repatriating back to Africa no time soon, right? This is our home, right? These immigrants, when they come here, they get out of line, they kick their asses out, right? They keep us in a sunken place because we was the economy here, right? So they can't kick us out. So watch this. If we ever got strong economically, what would happen to all these other ethnic groups? They would fall, right? So they're invested in keeping you economically dumb. And because you're economically dumb, you have no culture. So they're going to always take the side of white supremacy because their life is predicated on you being in a sunken place.
Let me build on that. Let me build on that. There's two things I want to say. First off, you damn right.
Damn.
That whole going back to Africa movement is dead. It's dead. Why? I can't even get brothers to leave a block.
Hey, Quinn. Hell yeah.
That's real talk. We can't even get them to leave a block. So thinking about us going back to Africa and cultivating land, that's not happening. Okay? We need to understand that we can build a nation within a nation the same way other races have. Hasidic Jews have their own community. You can't walk around out there. Okay? There's communities out here that are Chinatown. You know what I mean? So we need to understand that we can do the same thing. Take back our towns, take back our blocks, take back that, but that takes mobilization. One of the things that I can take away from the civil rights movement is mobilizing. Mobilization, but that means move, motherfucker. You got to get up to get down. You can't just sit at home talking about what we not doing, talking about what money we making or what moves we not making, and you not ready to move. You got to mobilize. You got to be able to put in some kind of action. So there's absolutely no way we could talk about going back to Africa. Do I think everybody needs to go at least once? Yes. It smells different. It feels different. You don't even know what it feels like. Everything in your body feels different when you step off the plane in Africa. It feels like home. Everywhere I walk out here, I know I'm, what they say, I'm Millie Rock on any block, but it don't feel like home. You know what I mean? I still know in the back of my mind that I was stolen and I was placed here. I was put here and I was forced to be here. And I'm walking on bloody ground. And I understand that and I can feel that with every step I take. So I know that everyone needs to go to Africa at least once so you can feel what it feels like to be home. But now, right now in the wilderness of North America, we need to mobilize. And to mobilize, that means you got to move. You got to get your ass up. You got to find somebody else that is about what you're about. You got to find somebody else that's willing to sacrifice what you're willing to sacrifice. You can't be around a bunch of bum niggas trying to spend money because everybody going to have their hand out. Surround yourself with the people got the same amount of money as you that's trying to get more. You understand? They saying work don't just for the job you got, you just for the job you want to have. You understand? So we need to walk around. We need to walk around with the energy that I know I'm free. No, I'm not free, but I know that I will be free. If I got enough brothers around me that's ready to work, that's ready to mobilize, that's ready to sacrifice, comfortability has to be lost for us to begin to think about black liberation.
Let me see the mic, right? Bang, 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 dropped it. Sister, I want to bring the sister in right quick. All right.
I seen her around Malik Zulu Shabbat.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Okay. First of all, just show the viewership for this elder queen right here. Yes. Arshay to Baba Dick Gregory. Libation for our elder. I wanted to ask you, you had the esteemed privilege of building with some of our great leaders, some of our unsung heroes that are still here on the ground. Brother Malik Zulu Shabazz. So I know that you have some gems to drop regarding the subject matter that you heard us dialoguing about. Anything that you would like to add on to that?
Well, I appreciate the privilege. I want to honor my sister Queen. I want to honor my brother Kings. And indeed, just 2 weeks ago, Brother Malik Zulu Shabazz and the Black Power movement is asking for 10,000 black men. 10,000 black men to walk strong, to stand strong. They're going to leave from the hood, the good hood in Southeast Washington, D.C., the good hood, Anacostia, and go all the way to Trump's house. And the 10,000 black men are going to go to his so-called house and put it to him strong and to him straight. And we sister queens are going to be with our kings because it's not going to stop. We're like a river. We're like water. We don't stop. I don't care how dead or how deep you put us down. We're not going to stop coming back up to our original selves, our original thrones. It was like Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. You remember that great warrior walking the streets. He say, we like baby's kids. We don't die. We multiply, and we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going strong until victory is won. Bet that.
Black power. And I want to say this too, right? Because the sister and the brother, George Macon, the sister, Sekhmet, who always bring that fire, right? I love to hear the sister speak more. We need templates, right? We need archetypes of what the sisters need. I'm not saying you're the absolute one, but you're damn sure a necessary one, a respected one, and something to really pay attention to for the queen. So I appreciate your perspective because we want to start seeing part of community. Sisters are in the community. We need to start having them in the conscious community, giving perspective more, and I appreciate that. I want to talk a little bit about because he said receipts, about some of the things like you haven't seen Brother Sankofa in front of the camera as much like that, and that's for a reason. You already know I'm long-winded and I'm not camera shy. But not only am I long-winded, right? I'm broad-scoped. All right? My energy is vast. My passion is real, flaws and all. I've been out in Connecticut a lot, organizing with brothers on the ground. Shout out to CTRBG, all right, who is a pillar in the community for Dixwell Avenue, the Shotokan University. It's a dojo, a martial arts academy, where not only is this a martial arts academy, they teach culture, discipline, and many other essentials to the children, to the women, and to the brothers in the community. I've been organized, and this is like, remember that movie back in the day, Black Belt Jones? I don't know how old, I'm dating myself right now. You ain't never seen you never seen a karate school where you go in and there's RBG, Black Power. And since then, and that was in a movie, we actually got that on the ground in Connecticut. Not only that, we have functions in the community, right, where we're feeding the community, right? Shout out to Elephant in a Room Boxing Gym, another black-owned institution right around the corner from there, right, on Sherman Ave, where they're feeding the kids in the community. All right, a lot of the kids who can't afford to go to the martial arts class, where you're teaching them culture, discipline, not just how to throw a kick or chop a brick, they get full scholarships. We work with the community. I've been doing something there called Poetry and Politics over the last 2 months. Poetry and politics. Dr. Khalid Muhammad said, our people are arithmetic people. We have rhythm. We got soul. So we learn through the process of information and inspiration. So we deal with politics because you got to kind of, you know what I'm saying, give the bee honey to draw them to that. So a lot of our people, to make things palatable for them, we deal with the poetic aspect. But we also deal with the politics. Not like the politics as electoral politics, but the politics of nationalism, the politics of community building, the politics of all the things that we're talking about. And the people are very receptive of that. I've been on the ground organizing. So you're seeing a new Sankofa transitioning into being more of just a speaker in front of the camera to a boot on the ground doer and loving it. Because I'm learning different tricks of the trade of how to engage with people. You know what I'm saying? My temperament. How to problem resolution, how to build and organize on a community level where you can be a team player but still be yourself but be a part of the greater good. Not that I didn't have none of these skills, but when you're a part of community activism and you're doing things, all right, I don't do this. You didn't even see this on camera. But tune in because November 4th, we're having one, and hopefully we live stream it and it's thrown up on BABATV. We're going to have Sister Sophia Shabazz, the chairwoman of the new Black Panther Party right out in New Haven. Shout out to my brother Bourne. My brother Bourne, a.k.a. the real name is Yancey Horton, who is running for the alderman of the 20th Ward, the new Hallville section of New Haven, Connecticut. This brother's in a wheelchair, but don't let that fool you because he's on the ground, goddamn it, more than some of you people with 2 feet. Right? And he's doing a lot of work. I've been organizing with these brothers. I've been learning organizing skills and brotherhood and how to really not just talk about what we need, but to implement it on a community level with these brothers. I want to shout out Sister Diamond Tree. I want to shout out Brother Majestic. These are all the brothers who are part of CTRBG, who are organizing on the ground for the betterment of the community that you don't even see on camera. And the reason I'm mentioning them and shout them out, because you see us. There are a lot of people who are really conscious, who are really doing things, who don't get the coverage that they should get, who don't get the support that they should, because many people would be inspired if they do see them. So me, as a person that is a speaker, am actually going to speak truth to power and mention them unsung brothers and sisters, heroes and sheroes, who don't get the coverage that we get. Because that is more relevant. We're just doing the talking, which is important because we're breaking shackles and we're teaching. But we also have to get on the ground and to mobilize people to really make that which we talk about a manifestable reality.
I want come here, sister. Come here. Come in the camera for me. Come on. No, you. Come here. She afraid. Come here. Come here. Where's Sankofa? Come here, Sankofa. Stand next to her. I want y'all to see something. I want to speak to the conscious community because something I see when I was always watching. Just from a distance. I want the brothers out there to stop blaming black women for the conditions of our community. I want you brothers, listen, understand what I'm saying to you. We cannot blame, every time there's a brother being shot down in the street, every time there's a brother being incarcerated, every time there's a brother out selling drugs and killing another brother, right? Because we always talk about the things that systematically happen to the black man, right? Do you ever stop and think subconsciously and psychologically what it does to the black woman? So y'all understand something. We the seed planters. Our job is to provide sunlight and protection for the seeds we plant. So now, if her king is constantly being destroyed and her and her children are being vulnerable, and then we turn around and we blame her for the conditions of the community. You don't see no other ethnic group of men blaming the women for their conditions of their community. That's a feminine trait. And part of that is because most of our boys are being raised by their moms because the fathers are not in the household. So we don't even have a sense of what our roles is to our women. So we'll turn around and say, well, the community is messed up because they're being raised by women. Well, we know why they're being raised by women. But we should be doing everything that we can do until we die to save our women and our children because we're responsible for them. So when this sister come and speak, she should be flanked by 2 brothers knowing that she's protected. Not just be able to stand by herself and somebody could just come and do anything to her. Right? That's why I said stand in between the brothers when you build. Because she should know, a woman should know when she comes into the presence of a man, the men in her community, that she's safe. And because we haven't been around, she's been molested. 90% of the time when she's beaten by a man that looks like her. When she's molested by a man that looks like her. And because she doesn't understand warfare, she just sees the war that she's in, but she don't understand warfare. Warfare is the act that you practice where you don't have to go to war. They destroy you internally. That's right. So she walks around saying she don't need her man. They psychologically made her believe that she doesn't need her man. So what did Elijah Muhammad say? The nation only goes as far as this woman. That's right. So the art of war is to destroy us and make her believe psychologically that she doesn't need him because really the black man's husband is the white man. He provides food, shelter, and clothing for her. He provides jobs for her sons when he got a felony and can't get a job. He can't come to us. So before we begin to blame our women, we got to understand warfare and how we're being attacked. Stop blaming the women. That's feminine. That's a feminine trait.
Talk to the sisters. I want to talk to the sisters. I'm going to say something to the sisters, and this might be cold-blooded. It might be. But sisters, you are not a man. You are not a man. Understand that the chips have been systematically stacked up against our men. And we have good men out here now that are ready to take their rightful place. But they cannot take a place if you're in the way. Understand that you're a woman. Understand that you do have a rightful place. And let your man take the lead. We understand that generationally, women have been put head of household for all different types of things. But it's been a European system that has made us believe that we don't need a man. That we can think like a man. That we can act like a man. And one of the things one of my master teachers, my father told me, he said, if you want to talk and act like a man, you better have hands like a man. Okay? You want a man to choke you while you having sex, but if he choke you in an argument, then you call it 911. It's confusing. I told you it might be cold-blooded, but I'm gonna keep it a buck.
She said it.
I said it.
Yeah, 'cause we say it, we wrong. She said it.
I said it. Let's get it together, sisters. We have to understand that you need to embrace your femininity. Understand there is a rightful place for a woman. There is a rightful place. And we need to allow our men to be men again. Every black man out here is not a deadbeat. Every black man out here is not a deadbeat. We need to stop talking about our brothers like that. Our mouths destroy our brothers. The things that we say to our brothers when we get mad are like venom. We hurt our men more than anything else can hurt our men. We hurt our men more than anything else on the planet can hurt our men. Just a simple word. You a pussy. You ain't got no job. Fuck you. You ain't shit. Do you know what that does to the psyche of a black man? We need to understand, we need to change our conversation. We need to change how we talk to our men. We need to change what we do with our men. We need to change how we treat our men. And we need to know our rightful place as a woman. You are not a man. Walking around here thinking that you don't need a man and you can go on independent. There's nothing wrong with being independent on the side of your man.
Here we got it. We're dealing with the state of the conscious community, and I think the sister brought a very necessary and critical balance to the equation. All right, because as a black man, we can talk about what we need to do, and you're right. But as a sister, she can speak on, from the sister's perspective, what she definitely needs to. Sister, anything you want to say? We're talking about the condition of the black community. The sister rode with Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. A sister was right by this brother, right? Right? Okay, we already had a sister that rode with Malik Zulu Shabazz. We have another soldier, beautiful queen right here. Anything you want to talk about regarding the state of the conscious community and why we're so divided and some of the things that we can employ to patch up and build bridges where it needs to be built?
One of the things that the sister was talking about, we're not a man, and certainly we're not a man, but we were forced to be men and women, and men were forced and raped by the enemy. So we had to be clear about, see, we got to go back to what happened to us, and we never got any healing from that. So that's why we're suffering from this crap today. But nevertheless, we're still strong and we're still here. So, you know, Nat Turner took care of business 186 years ago, 1830. We're about to take a busload of 50 children to Nat Turner land coming up for the November the 11th when they executed him. And remember what they did to the young man. He was only 30 years old. They took his head off and they chopped up his body because they said this kind of spirit can't live. But you know what? The spirit still lives. They can't kill the spirit. We're still standing, and some of us love men and some of us love women. So those of us who are believers and who are walking in the same light, then we got to get together and we got to work with the believers, and maybe we can get the unbelievers to come on board with us. But those of us that are working now, we need to be able to keep on keeping on. And what they're doing here in the street, I'm so glad. I was trying to get to Bob Law's affair, but this is better. I tell you why. Because it's on the ground, boots on the ground. See, all of these intellectual masturbations, workshops, conventions, and everything is going absolutely nowhere. This is it. Yes, this here is frontline education on tour. Take them children out those classrooms, get them off those computers, and take them where it actually happened. So we're taking them to Nat Turner Land. We're also going to take them to Harriet Tubman. We're going to take them where our brothers and sisters who fought and resisted against this oppression, to get them to feel it and plant that seed. So all power to the people, all power to black people, and we got to get it together better. And we are doing better just by being out here and not in the classroom. The classroom session is over. It's actually time now to do the work. Yeah. Black power. And I want anybody.
Yeah, young lady, you have anything to say? You have any input? It's okay. It's okay. What's your name?
Ayla.
How old are you?
11.
Okay, there's been a lot has been said this afternoon. Is there anything that you heard in particularly that, you know, registers with you that you want to make a comment about?
Okay, so us black people been very us people been down, and we haven't been treated fairly. We all been lynched, and as back then white people were just treating us like we're nothing and we're just garbage, but we actually mean something to the world.
Yes. Do you know, irregardless of any of that treatment, that not only are you magnificent and special, but you come from a strong lineage of dynamic people? Case in point, let me tell you this, right? In the late 1800s, early 1900s, do you know that blacks have been responsible for over 100 different creations and inventions? So the same people that they told you were worthless and they were slaves and they didn't know anything, these same people, the second that they were given an opportunity to get around industry and machinery and things of that nature, or they saw problems, they came up with solutions. And this is where the inventions came from. So the traffic light, the toilet, the refrigerator, the ice box, you name it, the light bulb, the air conditioner, you understand? Our people came up with that, you know what I'm saying? Right away. We're not even going back further and talk about mathematics and everything else, you know what I'm saying? So you come from a great, mighty, inspirational, enduring people, irregardless of these conditions that you see around today. You know what a hater is?
White people.
I agree.
Exactly. I was gonna set it up for that to be the punchline. She went straight to it.
Let me also say this. I want us to take note that this young black princess right here is out here with her father. She's out here with her father. Okay? So we need to understand that our black men are ready to take the reins. Our black men are ready to be fathers again. Our black men have been putting in the work to get that accountability back into their lives. As we see this black man out here with his young black daughter, we need to recognize that our black men are ready for war. Our black men are ready. They're ready to train. They're ready to work. And they're ready to love on our children like never before. Like never before. So shout out to all the single fathers out there. I was raised by a single parent father. You know what I mean? And my mom left me when I was 3 months old, and my father has never left my side yet. So I appreciate single black fathers, and we need to give them more praise and more that boys. So I thank you, my brother, for having your daughter out here. And that's just black love equals black power. Black love equals black power.
So with that, family, anybody else had anything that they wanted to say in closing? Come on, Pops, come on and speak.
All right. My name is Brother Chuck, and this is my daughter Michaela, and this is the family here, you know. And brothers and sisters, Brother Chuck, and Black News 102, Black Magic 363, all the channels like that. We need to see that every day, because I'm from Fort Greene. Trust me, all my brothers that see me from Brooklyn, I changed my life a whole lot. You know, I'm with my family every day, and this is more important. You know, and you know what's so funny? I listened to some Al Green music back in the days, for my parents used to play back in the early '80s and everything. Al Green, all the good music, and I was saying to myself, music give you good vibration, bad vibration, and some of the vibration I was getting playing some Al Green music. My parents was doing drugs and all that stuff, you know what I mean? But now when I play that music, I'm building knowledge with my family. So it's like I'm playing that old music, but I'm turning it to a good frequency, because imagine my parents was giving me Black News 102 information, all that stuff. I would have been more powerful then, you know? So just want to say that real quick, you know?
Anybody want to close out? Anybody else got anything to say in closing?
We appreciate that. We appreciate you. We appreciate your daughter. We appreciate everybody that has came, you know, with the commentary this afternoon. Appreciate Sankofa. Appreciate the brother George. Of course, we love and honor and appreciate Empress, the General. You know what I'm saying? I want you to close it out, though.
Y'all already know what it is. Black power. Black power. Black power. Black power. We all we got, people. You got to stand strong, stay alive, stay woke. BABATV every time.